Hey everybody, it's Phil Struzula from Select Software Reviews, and today we're talking about using AI in recruiting. Super interesting topic, super relevant. We're going to learn kind of what's going on with AI in the recruiting sphere. How can we use it? How can we get started? Pitfalls. Hopefully this will be a pretty good one-on-one on what you need to know and leave you with some good tactics to get started. I am joined with an expert, Tommy Dikerman, the founder of Comeet. Tommy, thank you so much for joining us. Do you mind giving us a little bit of background on yourself and what you do on a day-to-day basis?
Sure. Thank you, Phil. So I'm previously an architect, actually. I transitioned into tech. And just briefly, I sold the previous company back before starting Comeet. And we started Comeet almost 10 years ago now because we saw that recruiting was not working. Something was off, and we set out to fix it. And recently we merged with SparkHire, which is an incredible company that offers one-way video interviewing tool and other tools. And we're really excited about the prospect of us offering a very comprehensive suite of products. I'm personally the Chief Product Officer of the company, and happy to have that discussion about AI today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm a big fan of SparkHire and Josh and the whole team. So it's awesome that you guys have come together. Can you give us a little bit of a background on the evolution of AI and recruiting? What's been happening behind the scenes?
Sure, I'd love to talk about that. And so I won't go into all of the possible use cases, but I would start with looking at what companies, talent acquisition leaders, have tried to do with machine learning and AI over the years. So the biggest challenge was always looking at resumes, roles, and understanding how to make that matching, right? And there are multiple use cases for it. Early days, it was mostly heuristics based on keywords. So keyword-based heuristics, looking at what's in the resume and trying to see if it fits the role. Obviously, these approaches are very, very limited. And moving on from there, there are some ubiquitous technologies like resume parsing that uses machine learning, and everyone uses it these days. But I think what's really interesting is what happened after. We saw in the past, I would say 5 years or so, more and more machine learning algorithms focused on this problem of matching candidates with roles. Lots of attempts, not all of them were successful, most were not successful. There were some successes, mostly with very narrow machine learning focused on specific high volume roles and trying to identify candidates for that. But those are very heavy in terms of the data science and the effort that goes into adapting those algorithms for each one of these roles. And so only companies that had high volume could actually afford that type of development and solution. But more recently, we saw other use cases and more opportunities. I can talk a little bit about what we have done previously in Comeet, also with machine learning and other statistical rules, along with labeling categorization of candidate data that allows to filter through and find candidates that have specific experience, skills, certain education, and positions that they currently have or had in the past, and to make sure they fit for a role. The use cases that recruiters usually look for is either screening through new applications where there are many applications for a role, or to find existing candidates, past candidates are already in the company's database, and there's the opportunity in going back to them and seeing if they're relevant for a new position. And I think more interestingly, today, there are new opportunities with generative AI, and maybe we can talk a little bit more about that and what also we at Comeet introduced recently.
That'd be pretty cool. I just want to do sort of a random aside. So we run this job board for HR professionals, and we had a meetup over Zoom a few weeks ago. and one of the big topics of conversation was how to get your resume past the ATS. And I'm wondering if you're seeing like people try to game these resume parsing solutions. One person actually said their resume has lots of like white text with keywords. And I don't know if things like that are actually effective, or, if you have any advice for job seekers maybe out there, or for people who are receiving resumes, and how this maybe cat and mouse game is playing out.
Yeah, so first of all, we don't look at our customers' data. So I can talk specifically about resumes that have this type of trying to outsmart the system. I can say that I don't think it's fruitful. Like no candidate is hired just based on what a machine said. And I think that's a principle that we always follow. We're trying to empower the team, whether it's the recruiters, the managers, to do a better job and be more efficient, to be able to follow best practices and the best recruiting methodologies in a better way. But more specifically, like there are very few roles today that actually, if I'm looking at the space and the ATSs that are out there, there are some companies that leverage machine learning in that way. I don't think, again, that it's really fruitful, because there is no candidate who just, even if you can say whatever you want on your resume, really, even with black text, right? At the end of the day, someone will have to judge whether you're the right fit.
That's accurate. What are the generative AI use cases in hiring, recruiting?
Yeah, so as we all heard about ChatGPT and what OpenAI has achieved with their machine learning with large language models, we also looked at that and we saw a lot of opportunities. We started Comeet with the goal of empowering recruiters and managers to do better recruiting and drive better recruiting outcomes. And part of it is not only in terms of productivity and making things more efficient and more automated, even though that's really important, it's also about helping them do a better job, whether it's when they're screening candidates, interviewing, making decisions about people. And here we add the opportunity to help them create some of the content that will help them throughout the process. So we recently introduced the AI assistant in Comeet, and it's available to all of our customers. And it's actually growing. We're introducing more and more functionality, and it's becoming stronger and stronger. And what it does, it helps recruiters and managers to create content that will help them throughout the process, whether it's the job description, scorecards, pre-screening questionnaires, interview questions, and so on. And again, it's not just about saving time, it's really about doing a better job, because what we saw is that recruiters and managers, some of them are knowledgeable about some of the recruiting methodologies and best practices out there, but definitely not all of them, to say the least. I mean, hiring managers, it's not their role to be experts in recruiting. And we also saw that, for example, when we ran an interviewing training webinar, and we actually reached the limit of how many attendees Zoom can handle, because there's really demand for that. Like, they want to know more, they want to have more tools and be able to do a better job. And with tools like generative AI, we're able to implement these methodologies and help them do a better process and make better decisions.
When do you think I should be worried as a recruiter as it relates to my job prospects and what these solutions can do?
As a candidate, as a job prospect, I think it's important to remember.
Sorry, as a recruiter, when should I start worrying about my professional trajectory?
So that's a statement that we hear from recruiters. They have lots of experience. They're really people's people. They know how to talk with candidates and learn about their personality and what motivates them. And when you talk with recruiters, they're concerned that these tools may come in and maybe take some of what they do. And they're also very hesitant about introducing these new tools to the organization. And I think all of that makes sense from their point of view. But what we're doing here is really empowering them and the managers to do a better job, right? So we're always looking at the person who's driving, right? So who drives recruiting. Where there's no decision that is being made without them, and we're actually helping them make a better implementation of their policy and how they want to apply recruiting in their organization. So for example, a talent acquisition leader can say, okay, we want to communicate with candidates in a certain way. We want to ask certain types of questions, and we can help them implement that across a variety of roles in the organization.
What do you think the next 2 to 5 years of this technology holds? Like, we're in 2028. What do you think these AI recruiting tools will be doing that they're not doing today?
Yeah, so I think there's a lot more to do, and we're actually looking at many of these opportunities. I can say that there's more opportunity in the realm of matching, where machine learning was first introduced, and again, going back to those early attempts at matching candidates with roles, and really better serving the process. And what that means is we would like to see a better candidate experience, a more personalized candidate experience, where the recruiters, the managers communicate with candidates in a way that really speaks to what they value, whether it's the company's values, whether it's their career trajectory, and really what matters to them. We really believe in creating a good candidate experience, and there's a lot that goes into that. And AI can really help here. And that goes to both roles with low volume, where there's AI that can help with sourcing and communicating with candidates during the sourcing activities and the outreach sequences that companies run, but also with high volume roles where there are many candidates, and AI can help prioritize and screen those candidates.
Tommy, what resources do you recommend if somebody's like, you know what, I want to go deep on this topic, I just want to read or consume a lot of content? Are there any like webinars or white papers or anything that you think people should go out and read?
I can only talk about our materials. So people are welcome to check out our blog. We have a few posts about recruiting AI. We also recently done a webinar about recruiting AI, covering a lot more topics about where AI can help in recruiting, including some very actionable tactics on how to use GPT. Which is a really interesting trajectory and tool for many recruiters.
Awesome. If somebody wants to get in contact with you, what's the best way to reach out?
Sure, people are welcome to contact me and connect on LinkedIn. I'm there, happy to connect.
Awesome. Tommy, thank you so much for just sharing your knowledge. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Phil.